Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having an amazing day. In this video today, we're going to dive into one of my favorite and biggest manifestation success stories. It kind of relates to two of the most recent videos that I've done where I talked about how you can manifest more by thinking less. And this is kind of what played out in this scenario. So I'll link that one above if you want to go back and check that one out. And then it also plays off of the next most recent video, which is where I talk about how to make manifestation feel really easy. And I talk about how you can start to become a person who manifests things and you're looking back saying to yourself, I did that without even trying, or I manifested that without even lifting a finger, or I didn't even have to do anything. It just came to me. And this is a manifestation story that felt like that. So I really want to share it too, because I really believe that hearing success stories and hearing how things have worked for other people helps your mind to get on board with the process and helps to really kind of like reprogram your subconscious to know and believe that this stuff is real and this stuff is true and it happens. Anyways, before we get into the details of the story, I just wanted to say if you're new here, welcome. I'm Katie, and on this channel, we get into all things manifestation, conscious creation, and helping you step into your power so that you can create the life of your dreams on purpose. So if you're interested in that, stick around and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can continue watching more videos like this. Okay, so today's manifestation success story is about my fiance proposing to me and kind of the different events that happened around that, including like the ring that I got, all this type of stuff. So it's one of the bigger, like I said, one of my bigger manifestation success stories, just because it's kind of like I see that as a big event in my life, and the ring as part of it, which I'll explain why that's part of it. But this was something that, I've never been one of those that has like fantasized for a long time about my proposal or all this type of stuff. But as our relationship was starting to get more serious, I definitely had thoughts about what type of proposal I would like, kind of what I would like it to be like, what kind of ring I would want, all this type of stuff. And meanwhile, my sister had just gotten engaged. So there were like a lot of kind of marriage and proposal thoughts swirling in my head. And at the time when I was talking to he was at the time my boyfriend, now he's my fiance. He would always kind of say like, oh, I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Like maybe we'll wait another year or so, whatever. So already, because of his trickery, already I wasn't putting that much pressure on it, because in my mind at the time, based off what he was saying to me, I I knew, okay, well, it's not happening anytime right now, maybe another year or so. So we'll have conversations as it comes up, but I wasn't all of a sudden like attached to it or freaking out about it or thinking like, well, this is how it needs to go, or I need this ring, or I need it now, because, in our conversations, I thought, okay, yeah, it's going to happen, but not right now. We're probably just going to get through my sister's wedding and all that, and then we'll get engaged and kind of move on from there. And so this is, I think, one of the key takeaways is I was really detached. Yet in my mind, I was already starting to have fun. This is the second point. Have fun just imagining what I would want my ideal proposal and my ideal ring to be like and all this type of stuff. But like I said, I wasn't really having these conversations with my boyfriend at the time, because it was already kind of known to me that like, okay, we'll kind of just talk about that as it gets closer. And, I'm sure these will be conversations we have together at the time. But meanwhile, here I am imagining like, okay, my sister had this proposal and that was like on a beach near my parents' house. And like, we all showed up afterwards and we were kind of like videoing it from behind a rock and taking all these family photos afterwards. We had like this big celebration afterwards with my family. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, well, how would I want it done? And I had like, I'm a very different type of person. So I was like, I would want it to be just the two of us. I would be alone, want us to be alone. I would want it to be in Ireland. That's where he's from. And I love it. I love it there. And I thought like, it would be really cool to be somewhere out in nature. And I just had all these ideas in my head of what I would want it to be like. I knew for a fact, I was like, oh, I would love it to be just the two of us. I would like it to be really kind of like remote, like a cool area, something you have to like hike to, or something where like it could really be just the two of us. There wouldn't be even any other people around. And yeah, in Ireland, or I was open to, if it was somewhere else that we traveled that was really cool, but my heart was kind of set on Ireland. Um, and then as for the ring, I was starting to think about, well, what would I want my ring to look like? And I kind of just started in my head saying, oh, well, it would be nice if it was this. But the key is that it was very lighthearted. It was very light. It was fun. I was never sitting there like writing down in my journal, this is what it needs to be, like making a mood board, making like I wasn't doing these like manifestation rituals. Yet at the same time, what I didn't realize was this whole process was a manifestation ritual in itself. I just wasn't even thinking about it like that or wasn't even trying. It was just fun. It was just enjoyable. It was just kind of naturally happening. And I'm going to do a whole separate video after this where I talk about like kind of the key points and really dive into them more and the key takeaways for how I think this manifestation really came to fruition so seamlessly. But I just want you to feel into like the knowing that there wasn't like a process going on. I wasn't trying, I wasn't efforting, I wasn't trying to force anything to happen. I was just genuinely living in the moment and allowing myself to imagine and be creative and have fun in those moments. And so, yeah, again, I wasn't like searching things all the time, trying to figure out places that I wanted to happen or actively searching wedding rings. But what did happen was one day I was on Pinterest and it just so happened that like a couple rings popped up, when you're just scrolling through your feed amongst like the recipes or amongst the different things that kind of show up on my feed. There was like a few rings, which was very odd because I haven't been searching rings, which I didn't realize at the time. Rings were probably coming up on my search because my, again, boyfriend at the time and I were living in the same house. And so, we're on the same Wi-Fi. And I think sometimes what happens is like, it'll send ads to you based on like what your partner's searching or whatnot. And so like I was starting to get some of these ring ads, but I did not put that together at all at the time. I just was like, oh, it's the algorithm thinks, maybe, maybe it's just sending me this because I'm a girl, because I'm searching things that are similar to, I don't know. Just, I had literally no thought about it. And so every now and again, rings would just pop up and I would start to see ones and I would start to think, oh, I like this one or I like this one. And, I remember one time I was talking to my now fiance's mom and we were just talking about rings and I just like very casually was like, oh, I like an oval shape and like a really thin band. And I think that was like it. And my, again, boyfriend at the time, now fiance, was in the room and he was there, but we never went into like a long discussion about it. We never talked about like size or like colors and things like that. We never really went into details. I never really showed him any pictures. We never went to like a jewelry store together and picked anything out. And all I had, which again, I never showed him, was like this one picture from Pinterest that I took a screenshot of. And I was like, someday when we talk about this more, I'm going to pull up this picture and show it to him. Like I'll just keep it saved and I'll show him this picture when we're kind of seriously talking about rings. But again, I never showed it to him. And, I just had it in the back of my mind for, I'm sure someday we'll talk about this. Maybe we'll go ring shopping together and I'll pull this up as like an example. Well, all this to say that the next time we were going to Ireland, which was just like, again, in my mind, it was just a trip that we were taking because we were visiting his family members and because I was like really begging him to go back for just a trip. Again, this was not anything to do with getting engaged or anything like that. Again, as far as I knew, we were waiting until maybe the next year or maybe even like a year and a half to even like broach the topic again. And so we were just going to Ireland to visit. And during, I think maybe our second week there, he was taking me for like a weekend trip where we were going to do some hiking and all this type of stuff. And lo and behold, on that little weekend trip, during one of these hikes, he took me to this like very remote place, like the exact thing that I wanted, which again, I'm telling you guys, we never talked about this. I never expressed that this is what I would want. I never really talked about this. We never had anything in depth where we spoke about this. I mean, I'm trying to think now. I don't know if, every now and again, maybe you just have those conversations where a friend gets engaged or something and maybe you talk, oh, I would want it maybe here or there, but never anything serious. Like I think maybe I said to him, oh, I would want to do it on like a fun trip or something, or I would want to be somewhere where we traveled or things like that. But we never sat down and have a conversation. I never like tried to manifest this. I never did all these rituals. And lo and behold, here we are in Ireland on like this little weekend trip that we were going to go hiking. And he takes me to this place where you have to cross this like rock path through water. And then you end up at this little tiny island. And we get onto the island and we were the only two people there. Like I'm talking extremely tiny. Like it's just literally just an island, like a island out in the middle of this body of water. There's no like people or anything on it. It's just complete nature. And we're there and I start to realize, oh my gosh, I think he's about to propose because he started kind of talking about some just like sentimental things. And all of a sudden he gets down on one knee and he proposes to me. And meanwhile, there's like a full rainbow in the background and he pulls out the ring. And I kid you not, you guys, it was like the exact replica of this ring that I had screenshotted on my phone. And it's not like he had ever gone through my phone. He had never seen pictures of it. He had never like seen like it's not like I had texted it to friends and they told him. I had never even talked about with friends what I wanted. He did not have this information from anybody else. And so that's why I really feel that this is like a true manifestation story, is because none of this was ever discussed. None of this was ever done. So anyways, this is how we got engaged. In my ideal situation, there was nobody around. I also am the type that like I didn't want pictures taken. Like I said, my sister, we all kind of hid behind rocks and like we videoed it and took pictures. That's what she wanted. And I know a lot of people want that, but I'm like, I wanted a private moment. I wanted it just the two of us. I did not want any pictures. I didn't want to even talk to anybody else until like hours later. Like I didn't want to immediately call our friends and family. I just wanted to be in it in the moment with him and spend time like alone after that moment happened. And so it was the absolute perfect experience for me because one, it was a complete surprise. Two, it was everything I actually wanted. Three, I didn't have to go through any awkward moment where because it was a surprise, I looked down at the ring and it's not what I wanted. Like instead I look at the ring and it's exactly what I would have picked out if I were the one in the store picking it out. And I'm pretty much the type of person that if I hadn't liked it, he would have known like immediately, like even just from my face. Like, and I was like, I literally could not have picked out something better myself. Like I could not have gotten it more spot on. And yeah, we talked about it on the way, then we were going to like a hotel and I said to him, like, how did you know to do this? Like, who did you talk to? Like, I don't get this. We never talked about this. And he was like, I don't know. I just knew. I just knew. And so to me, this is just the perfect manifestation story because here's this kind of big event in my life where, it's not the biggest deal if you have to exchange a ring but it was just so seamless. It was so perfect. It came to me and I didn't even have to try. I didn't even have to put in an effort. Like this perfect experience, at least from my perspective, this was my idea of a perfect experience, came to me in a way where, and there were other like little manifestations along the way for the whole entire trip, which I'm not even sharing all of it with you guys, but like everything from even just like the flight over there to just everything, every little thing along the trip was like all these little manifestations and little perfect moments. And this was again, another like a huge perfect moment for me. And like I said, the point of it is just to show with you guys that like, it doesn't always have to be this huge manifestation ritual. Like it can actually be easy. However, it's often when we're not trying to make it happen. And the reason for me that I feel like this could unfold so perfectly is because I got out of the way. I wasn't in the way. And what I mean by that is, sure, there were moments leading up to it where I had fun visualizing these things. I had fun imagining, oh, what would I want? I had fun looking at that photo of the ring where it popped up on Pinterest and I was like, ooh, I'll save this for later. I was at complete ease and I wasn't trying to make anything happen because I think actually in this situation, my fiance, the way he handled it allowed me to be in that space of ease because it was kind of just like, oh yeah, well, we're not thinking about that right now. Like I'm not, by telling me he wasn't ready for it right now and telling me we were going to wait like another year or so, what it actually did instead of like freaking me out or making me want to push harder, it actually made me relax and be like, okay, we can just think about that later. Like it's going to happen, but it'll just happen later. And so it like allowed me to really be in this energy of relaxation, no control. And so what he doesn't realize is that he set me up for the perfect experience to manifest exactly what I desired because I wasn't in the way. I wasn't trying to force anything. I wasn't trying to make it happen. I wasn't trying to manipulate the circumstances or the situation because it wasn't even really on my radar. So when it did happen, which was like way sooner than a year in the future, it was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. This whole thing came to me in the perfect way, in the perfect experience, in the perfect trip, in the perfect weekend, all these perfect things. It was so cool because he had actually already told all my friends and family what he was going to do. So like when we called them later that day, like they were all excited. They had all known. It was just, he did everything in such a way that it was like exactly what I would have wanted, but I never had to ask for any of it. I never had to communicate any of it. I never had to plan any of it. And so for me, that was my example of like this perfect experience. So yeah, that's my manifestation story that I wanted to share with you guys. And I wanted to share that it can feel easy. It can feel like you didn't have to do anything. It can feel like you didn't have to try really hard and you can still get exactly what you want or better. Because I would say actually what that experience was even better than what I think I could have come up with on my own. Like everything that he planned, the whole weekend, the whole experience, again, the ring, all of it, like I don't know if I could have imagined it better myself. And it was because my energy was so open and so at ease and so surrendered, like I wasn't in the way. I hope you guys get what I mean when I say like I wasn't in the way. The thinking mind, the overanalyzing mind, the part of the mind that wants to know every detail and figure it all out, that was completely out of the way. And so what that allowed was for my true essence to just come forward. And so when I was having those fun imaginations and when I was in the energy of enjoying it and thinking about what I would want and doing it from a place of just fun, enjoyment, creativity, wonder, like that could just come to me without it being a struggle. So I hope to share more and more of these manifestation stories with you guys. If you guys have your own manifestation stories, especially of things that came to you without feeling like you had to try, please put them in the comments down below because I think this is the thing that we all want, right? Like we want our life and our manifestations to feel like a flow. We want it to feel like we don't have to struggle and effort and have this hard work. We want it to feel like things are just flowing for us. And so I think hearing more and more stories of how this happened is kind of the permission slip we all need to keep letting go. Keep letting go. Keep treating it like this scenario that I said where in my mind, I thought this wasn't happening for a while, which actually allowed me to surrender because it was like, I don't need to think about it. And what that allowed me to do was actually just have fun with it. And so if you can start to kind of play that game with yourself, that's really the only tool or process or technique you need. You don't need to do all these different things unless it feels good, because if you're just allowing yourself to be in the now moment and have fun and take off the pressure of it, it will come to you and it will feel like you didn't even have to try. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to learn how to work with me further, whether it be one-on-one or you're curious about the membership, you can check out the links down below. And other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.